Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning, I bet, to all my friends, and especially for our lecturer. For today's tutorial is for redesigning materials, which taken from the Google. So how we actually uh, redesign this material is by improving from reading comprehension, encourage them to speak, and then end up with a writing. So let's start. The original activity is based on year one literacy. It is for reading comprehension, where it's just a simple factual text that narrate a panda named Paco. For visual support, it illustrates a picture of a panda to aid engagement, of course, and also contextual understanding. For the question format, for year one, it is very suitable because it multiple choice, which is MCQ, and with one yes or no question. Next. Now, what is the aim of the redesign? Why are we redesigning the activity? Take back to the original activity. Well, only focus on reading and answering questions. Like, students only perform low-level recall and have limited communication and critical thinking. So here, by redesigning, we want them to integrate multiple skills like from reading to speaking and from speaking to write and AC. Then yeah, of course, to improve their communication skill by encourage them to a real discussion. Next. So, as I present previously, this is the original activity, which is reading comprehension, where the students will read a passage about Peko the panda, and student will answer multiple choice question. Here, we can clearly see that they only read and they will not even speak or have what we call it production skill like speaking and writing. So now we move on to how actually we can redesign this activity and know the limitation of this original activity.
All right, thank you, Shima, for that wonderful explanation. And now we will be looking at the limitations of the original design, which is the not yet adapted version of the activity. First of all, it does not promote any communication because, as previously presented, the the worksheet or the questions does not require the students to discuss or to brainstorm with their friends about the question because they can just read the text on the activity and on the worksheet. And of course, when the students does not communicate, they will not express their own opinions alongside with their own ideas. And the next one is there is no real purpose beyond getting answers correct. Even if they do get 10 out of 10, they will not use the knowledge they have in their daily life as it is a reading comprehension text, which means it is focused and based on one topic, which is the panda. And the last one is there is only limited language practice. As I have mentioned before, it does not promote any sort of communication skills because the activity only needs them to read the text and then answer the question. Okay, so this is a new proposed theme for the material, which is should Peko or should Peko stay in the wild or live in a zoo? So what is the purpose? Because it will turn the reading into a discussion or a decision making problem. Hence, the students can discuss among themselves. Should the panda stay in the zoo or live in the wild, whichever they think is more suitable. So by turning this whole activity around, they can it can create a more interactive and engaging environment for the students to learn the language easily and naturally. Okay, this is the four-stage integrated task, which will be dive deeper on later in the presentation. The first one is input, process, and followed by output, and the last one is presentation. So input is the reading part where the students is required to understand the text, and moving on to the speaking, which is the process, of course, where the students can have a group discussion and decide on the task together. And the output is where they will be doing the writing task. The writing task is to write a formal opinion letter. And the last one is presentation. It is a group presentation as they were discussing together in a group about the panda. Alright, I'll be giving the floor to the next presenter.
Thank you, Amisha, for your explanations. Now, I will be presenting about the stage. So, the first stage is that's the input stage, which is it focus on the reading skills, where students read the text about Pacho, the panda. So, during this stage, students are required to highlight key information from the reading. So the area of focus it include Pacho's habitat, the types of food he eats, where he sleeps, his behaviors in the wild, and the skills he demonstrates such as climbing or swimming. So at this point, students do not engage in writing yet. The primary purpose of this stage is to ensure that they fully understand the content before moving on to discussion and decision making in the next stage. So this input allows comprehension to be established as a foundation for the integrated skills that will follow. Next. So the next stage is the process phase, where students engage in collaborative speaking and reasoning, which is group discussions. So in groups, student will discuss the key questions. So one of the key questions is that should Pacho stay in the wild or move to a zoo? So to support critical thinking, several guiding prompts are provided, such as whether the forest environment is safe, whether the zoo is able to offer protection and care, and whether Pacho's well-being and happiness would be affected by the relocations. So these sentence frames are prepared to help students structure their arguments using evidence from the text. So this teach encourage students to refer back to their reading so that they will negotiate meaning with their peers and form a collective stance based on the textual support, which will prepare them for the written tasks that will follow after this. So next. Next is stage 3, which emphasizes the output phase, where students produce a piece of formal writing. So based on their group discussion earlier, students will write a formal letter addressed to a zoo director. So this letter communicates the group's decision regarding Pacho's living situations, and it will include reason supported by the information from the reading passage. Uh, so a structure template is provided to guide the letter's organization so that students are able to express their ideas coherently. So this stage, which is the output stage, allows students to transform spoken ideas into well-structured written form. So this will reinforce both language accuracy and logical reasoning between students. I think that is all from me. I will pass to the next people.
Okay, thank you, Farah. So we have gone through all the stages of the redesign activity. Now we will look at what the students will learn in this activity. Okay, first they will learn language arts, which is they learn a value about should Pacho, the panda, stay in the wild or live in a zoo. So this will help them to brainstorm, to think about whether the decision is right or not. And then the students will also learn mathematics, in which they will turn the reading into a discussion and decision making problem. And lastly, they learn arts and science, such as, for example, the teachers say, this week we will learn about the water cycle through experiments. We will also create an art project illustrating what we learned. So they both, the students will be able to learn all sorts of topics by using this activity. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I think this slide is actually misaligned. It should be one slide earlier. So this is the last stage of the activity, stage 4, which is presentation. So in this stage, the task is that each group have to present their decision in front of the class. And then all of the other students, the audience, they'll have to write one reason. They'll have to write one reason each group gives in front of the class. So in this stage, we actually integrated all skills in which we have speaking skills, writing, and also listening. So these are all the stages of the activity. Okay, next. Why does this redesign work? Okay, first, we can see that reading, the skill, has become a meaningful input. Okay, so our reading is that the students will have to understand the text, the panda text, so it becomes a meaningful input to them because it relates to their real life. And then writing has a real world purpose because they are writing a formal opinion letter in which they have to use that format later in their life, formal letter. Not only that, speaking also builds reasoning and collaboration because they have to discuss in their group and make decision together. So they'll have to like tolerate with each other and also think of each other's ideas. Apart from that, students also use evidence from the text itself, and because of this, the whole activity encourages higher order thinking and it instills such skills among the students. So next, okay, that's the end of our redesigning material. In conclusion, the redesign activity promotes strategic skill development and real communication, making learning more meaningful and student centered. So that is all from us. Thank you so much.
Dah boleh start